Hey guys, in previous video we have talked a little bit about the difference between wages and salaries, but we're going to have a look at a different way of doing some calculations. So a quick recap on what wages are. Wages are where you get paid for the amount of hours that you work. So if you work more hours, you get more pay. That will depend on your hourly rate. So you might get paid an hourly rate, and however many hours you work, you multiply that by your hourly rate to calculate your wage. Now, one of the advantages of being on a wage is that if you do extra hours, you'll get more pay. But I guess one of the disadvantages, if it's a quiet week and you get less hours, your pay can vary. So it makes it a bit hard to budget to make sure you've got enough money for everything you need. However, in this video, our focus is on introducing you to this pay hours rate triangle, and how we can use it to work out or solve some wages questions when they come up. Now, it's a little triangle that has pay in the top, hours and rate next to each other on the bottom. Let's have a look at how we use it. It's pretty easy, and we'll do a couple of example questions. I think might be the best way to show you how to use this. So Barry's hourly rate is $18.50 per hour. So how much will he earn if he works 19 hours? Well, from the previous work that we've done, you might look at that and go, well, I just take 18.5 and I multiply it by 19, which would be correct. But I wanted to show you in terms of this triangle how that actually works. The way this works is we simply put our hand over the top of the thing we're trying to calculate. So in this question, we're trying to work out his overall pay and what he gets. So I'll put my hand over pay, and what's left is hours next to rate. What this means is hours multiplied by rate, because two things next to each other, in this case, mean we're multiplying them. And that's exactly what we did. We did his pay is his hours multiplied by his rate. We get 19 hours multiplied by his rate of $18.50. His pay for that week is $351.50. All right, that's all we do. We just simply put our hand over the thing we're trying to calculate, and what's left will be our calculation. We think that bit's easy, but where it gets really handy is when we get questions like this one. Shazza works a 38-hour week, and she earns $18.50. What is her hourly rate? So in this question, it's this bit. It's her rate that we're trying to calculate. So just put your hand over the top of it, and what's left is pay on the top, hours on the bottom. I want you to think of that as a fraction. Pay over hours. So in other words, her rate is pay on the top divided by the hours on the bottom. Her pay was $18.50. Her hours were 38, so I put them into this fraction and put it in my calculator. Her rate was 48.6842. In money terms, in terms of currency, we split that after two decimal places. So it's 48.68 per hour. See how easy it was? We didn't have to sort of, get confused by what was going on here. We just said, look, what I'm trying to work out is her rate, because that's what the question says. Put your hand over it, and the triangle will tell you what calculation to do. In this case, pay over hours. Let's have a look at one more example before I give some for you guys to work on. In this question, Abdul earns $27 per hour. Okay, so if he gets paid $805.50 at the end of the week, so that's his overall wage, how many hours did he work? So in this case, the question says, how many hours? I put my hand over the hours. Hopefully you guys have got it by now. And what's left is pay on the top, rate on the bottom. Pay over rate. I make a fraction out of that. The hours he worked was the pay on the top and the rate on the bottom. His pay was $805.50. His rate was $27 per hour. I put them into my fraction, whack them into my calculator. He worked 29.83 hours. All right. Hopefully you guys can see how easy that little triangle, if you just memorize this pay over hours times rate, works. In fact, we're going to use this triangle in a few other topics coming up over the next few videos. We're going to make slight little modifications to it, but real small ones. So learn it. Pay on the top, hours, rate on the bottom. We're going to use it quite a bit. Now, I want you to pause and maybe just copy down this last example, the one you see here on the screen. In fact, everything you see on the screen, there's not much. Jot this into your book and pause. And when you've done that, hit unpause, and I'm going to give you guys some questions to have a go at. Here we go. All right, so here are our practice questions. There are 6 questions for you to have a go at. They're all sort of a bit mixed up, but you're going to use the pay hours rate triangle to solve them. Write out the question, they're not very long, and then show you're working out your calculation underneath as well. And then I'm going to get you to pause while you do those, and then when you're done, you can unpause and have a look at the answers, which I'm going to put up for you in a few seconds. All right, good luck with them. All right, and there are your solutions. Now, if you're doing this in a classwork sort of environment or as part of your classwork, remember, if you got different answers and you're not sure what happened, make sure you talk to your teacher, have a chat and try and figure out what went wrong. But hopefully you did really well with these. So yeah, good job. Well done.